Welcome back to Kais Tech. We're on to video 3 of our app development course using React Native. In this video, we're going to pause to go over how to resolve some common problems and errors you might be having during the development process. Then we're going to go over a few hints and tips which might make your work a little easier. This video is actually a little bit ahead of schedule. I was planning on making this video maybe 3 or 4 videos from now. Though a few people have reached out for help with errors they're facing, problems they're getting, and I've noticed quite a few people are getting the same errors and problems. Also, I think it's good to go over some basics of using the terminal and the like to make learning and working less frustrating. So let's start with problems, errors, and how to fix them. Problems and errors are very frustrating and annoying. They usually make us want to give up. Usually error messages are written in a very difficult to understand way, and they're not easy to interpret. However, facing errors and problems is a key part of life for any software engineer, and a key skill for us is learning how to overcome them and fix them in a sort of timely manner. This is a bit of a cliche, but a good first step in any error or problem you're facing is to just copy the error message or a description of the problem you're having and just search on Google. There's always a lot of people there who have had the same problem as you in the past, probably, and there'll be a solution out there somewhere. It might take quite a while to track down a suitable solution, and it might be very frustrating and take a long time, but usually you'll get there, and over time you'll start to get an intuition for how to solve software engineering problems, especially if it's with a framework you're gaining familiarity with. So let's dive right in with some errors, problems we seem to get quite a lot. So this is one that I seem to get a lot, and a few people have reached out to me about this one. When entering the command to start the development server, yarn start -- tunnel, it takes a few moments to set up, and you get this positive message here, but then it says it took too long to connect and it's failed. I've tried to find out online, but I can't seem to find any satisfactory solution to this problem. The one and only solution that seems to work is to just run it again, and then it works. I can't find any explanation for it, but that's all you have to do is just run it again if you get that error. Just don't be put off. Do you also sometimes find that when you scan the QR code with the Expo Go app, that sometimes you get this blue screen pop up saying it can't connect? I get this from time to time, and I've found a few solutions to this problem. Number one, check that your dev server is definitely running. It might have stopped for some reason, or you might have stopped it yourself by pressing Control-C, or you might have refreshed your code space. Yeah, so make sure that's still running, and if it's not, start it up. Make sure, of course, that you're scanning the right QR code. Also, I've noticed some people seem to have problems with VPNs as well. If their VPN is running on either their computer or their mobile device, the VPN can sometimes stop the connection between the two devices. So maybe switch your VPN off on both devices if you're having trouble. Some other things you could try is on the Expo Go app page, typing this URL directly in. There's an option on the Expo Go app to enter a URL manually. You can try typing that in there. Or if you've already run the app before on Expo Go, you can sometimes just press the button associated with it, and it might load it that way. I've noticed there's some bugs with the QR code from time to time. And finally, if you're still having problems with the QR code working, you might try disconnecting from the Wi-Fi and reconnecting. You might try restarting your mobile device, or even restarting your CodeSpace or your computer. If you're still having problems after all of that, leave a comment below, and maybe we can help you fix it. So if you're editing the code of your app with the development server running, you'll find quite often that maybe you've typed something a little wrong, and this big scary error message comes up on the screen. Now, don't panic. This is very common, and usually it's just as simple as pressing Control Z to undo the change, and everything is just back to normal, and the app refreshes on your device, and everything's gone back to normal. If after correcting the error, it doesn't seem to refresh on your mobile device, you can, with the Expo Go app loaded, you can shake your phone, and an option to reload the app will appear. If that still doesn't work, you can close the development server, restart it, and restart the app on Expo Go. Very useful website I found when having problems and errors in software development is this website, stackoverflow.com. You'll find if you normally Google an error message you're getting, or a problem you're having, you'll probably end up on this website sooner rather than later. So keep this in mind. So let's talk about some hints and tips. If we head back over to our code space, today I'm mostly going to talk about the terminal and how we can use it a bit more effectively. If you've never used sort of Linux or done much software engineering stuff before, you might be quite unfamiliar with the terminal. That's perfectly okay. Most computers these days are entirely configured around what are called GUIs, graphical user interfaces. That's what Windows is mostly about, and most browsers. So let's talk a little bit about the terminal. So first of all, let's have a look at this prompt. So right here we've got, this is a path to a folder location. So that's just showing you a particular folder in the in our workspace here. And then in brackets here we've got main, so that's the name of the Git branch we're currently on. So let's talk about a few commands that we can type here into the terminal. So let's type, a very useful one is ls. So that's essentially list all the files in that directory. So as you can see here, we're in the app development folder, and if I type ls, it's essentially just listing everything that's in, and then highlighted in blue we've got a folder and then the files in that directory as well. So I think we've already talked about cd, changing directory. We've got one folder in this folder at the moment, so we can type cd app. We've already done that before to change into the. We've now changed the path. We've gone inside that folder. If we want to go back to the folder above, all we have to type is cd ... And we've gone up to the level above, the folder above. So here's a useful tip for when using the terminal. If you start typing a command and then you press the tab key, it's going to give you some suggestions as to how you can complete that command. So here I've typed cd and then I pressed tab, and then it's given me a list of all of the folders within this location that I could choose. So I could say cd app like I did before. And even further, so if I were to start typing the name of a folder within this directory, and then press tab, it's going to autocomplete. It's going to finish typing the name of this folder, because there's only one folder that starts with AP, so it's going to autocomplete that. Now, at some point, you might have typed a lot of commands into the terminal, and your terminal screen is starting to look a bit cluttered. Like there's lots of commands, and you're not interested in any of that anymore. You just want to refresh the screen. So you can type clear, and that will just clear all the output previously. You can still obviously press up to see all your previous commands, or down to just cycle through them. Those will always be retained as long as you've got the code space open. Now, you might find that you're typing the same commands in over and over again. For example, when we're starting the development server, we're often typing yarn start tunnel, right, to start the development server. What if there was a quicker way of doing it? Well, luckily there is. We can use something called, let's clear that, we can use something called an alias. If we type in alias to the terminal, we can actually see a list of aliases which are already existing, but none of them are particularly useful to us at the moment. So, as we just hinted on, yarn start tunnel is something we type quite a lot. So let's make an alias for that. So let's type alias, and let's call it stdev. Or you can call it whatever you want. It's completely up to you, but I'm going to call mine stdev equals, and then in inverted commas, we're going to put yarn start dash dash tunnel, right? So now whenever we type stdev, it's going to essentially run that command. It's going to run the command that we told it here. Now, there's a bit of a problem. When we log out of our code space, when we stop our code space, and once we restart it, let's type in our alias, stdev. Oh dear, it can't seem to find it. It's gone. So how do we make aliases persist between logins of the code space? We can do it. It's a little bit involved, so bear with me. If the what I'm about to show you is a bit complicated, you can just come back to it another time, or anything, or you can just skip it. It's entirely optional. It's not fundamental. So let's first off move to this directory. It's cd and then a tilde, this little squiggly line. Now we're in what's called the home directory. It would normally be called if we were working on a normal Linux operating system. So let's have a look what's in this directory. We're going to type ls and then -a. We're going to list the files in this directory, and we're going to also list any ones which are hidden. This is ls-all, right? So in this directory, you can see there are some files that start with a dot. They are called hidden files. They're if we just type ls, they don't appear. So the file we want to edit is this one, bash.rc. So we're going to use a piece of software called VI. It's for editing documents on the command line. So normally we'd open a file here, and we'd open app.js, for example, and we'd edit that here. We're instead going to use this VI, and it's a classic text editor. There's quite a lot of sort of memes about it, and people make fun of it because if you've never used it before, it tends to be quite complicated to use. But we'll walk you through it. So let's type VI and then the name of the file we want to edit, bash.rc. So the file is quite long. Don't worry about what any of this that's in here. Forget about it. You don't need to edit any of that. So now you're in VI. You need to go into interactive mode, it's called. Normally you can't, if you just type stuff, it's not changing anything. So press the I key to go into interactive mode. Okay, and then we want to make some blank lines at the end here. And then let's type the command we typed earlier, the alias command. Alias stdev is equal to yarn start -- tunnel. Okay, and once you've done that, press the escape key to go out of insert mode, and then you want to press the colon key, and then you want to type WQ. That's write commit. So after you've done that, your alias is now going to persist every time you log in to CodeSpace. You'll be able to use the stdev command. You can, of course, define more aliases, and you can put them in that file on a new line. If you find you're using a command over and over again and you're sick of typing it, just make an alias for it and then put it into that file, and it'll persist every time. So that's it for today's lesson, pretty much. We've mostly gone over some problems that people have been having and how to fix them. And we've gone over some sort of hints and tips on how we can make our learning process a bit more efficient. So well done on everything today. If there's any queries or if you're stuck on anything, feel free to comment below and I'll give you a hand. I'll reach out to you and try to help you. If not, I'll see you in the next lesson. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video and follow along with the next one. Thank you very much.